Tennessee Titans fans, I am coming to you today on January the 2nd, 2025. Happy New Year, by the way. To tell you where I currently stand on the QB issue for 2025. Back in September when the season started, I was like most of you. I had hope that Will Levis was going to prove himself to be the future, the quarterback of the future for the Tennessee Titans. I had hope. We quickly learned within like the first 2 weeks of the season that was probably not going to be the case. And we started to look to the draft. And do you remember what I said on my podcast? I said, hey, I'm not high on this draft class. Not high on this draft class. I said I could be talked into Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward, but I'm a little iffy even on those two. That's what I said. And then Will Levis had a stretch of games where he played better randomly against Minnesota, Houston, and Washington. He had a little 3-game stretch where he played better. And I went on the podcast then and I said, hey, if Will keeps playing like this, the best option for 2025 is to give it back to him and let's take care of some of these other needs this offseason. That's where I stood. The key word there was if. If Will keeps playing like this, we can stick with him. Well, he did not keep playing like that. He reverted back to what he was at the start of the season, and now it looks like the Will Levis experiment is over. So now here we are again, talking about the draft. I still have my concerns about Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward because of pocket presence, decision-making, all of that stuff. And I didn't think we would realistically have a chance to even draft either one of those guys because I didn't think we would pass the Raiders or the Giants in the draft order. So I came on the podcast within the last few weeks. I talked about the possibility of Aaron Rodgers. A lot of people have talked about Sam Darnold. Some people have talked about Kirk Cousins and Derek Carr. But I tried to pitch everybody on the idea of Aaron Rodgers. But after watching Aaron Rodgers this past week against Buffalo, I just don't even know. I just don't even know if I could even talk myself into it anymore. He was so bad against the Bills the other day. It has become obvious to me that if the Titans can finish the job and lose to the Houston Texans on Sunday and finish with at least the second pick in the draft, if not the first, if you have a chance to draft Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward, I think that's absolutely what they have to do. And I know Abdul Carter's up there, and I know Travis Hunter's up there, and I know there are talented players at different positions. Abdul Carter, hard to pass him up because we need edge rushers. But I just think if you're up there, you got to go Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward, and let me explain my reasoning. I still have my concerns about both of them. Like I said, pocket presence, decision-making. Shedeur holds onto the ball too long. Cam Ward tries to play hero ball. I have my concerns about those two. But the Tennessee Titans have to fix the quarterback position. You have to. It doesn't really matter if you address any of the other needs if you don't have anything resembling an answer at the quarterback position. And more than anything else, my reason is this. The Tennessee Titans are a lifeless organization right now. They have nothing good going on. Nothing exciting. The fans can't even fill up a quarter of the stadium. Not even interested in going to the games. No hope. Nobody's having fun. It's boring. It's lifeless. It's dull. And the best way that I have seen to reinvigorate an organization and usher in a new culture with some hope and some life is to get a young quarterback at the top of the draft, not in the 3rd round, not in the 4th round, not let's take a guy late and hope we can mold him into something. No, taking a guy at the top, bringing him in, and trying to usher in a new era. That is how you reinvigorate an organization, and don't tell me it can't happen. Nobody cared about the Washington Commanders at the end of last season? Nobody. They were boring. They were dull. They were lifeless. They were just a team that most people didn't even care about. Didn't exactly have a roster that anybody was like, oh boy, Washington's a quarterback away. But then they get Jaden Daniels in here, and a lot of people weren't even high on Jaden Daniels. Everybody was talking about Caleb. But Jaden Daniels comes in, and all of a sudden the Washington Commanders are a playoff team, and it doesn't matter how this season ends for them. If they're a one and done in the playoffs or whatever, they're going to have hope, and they're going to have newfound life in that fan base and in that organization. And it all started with Jaden Daniels. A lot of people didn't even like the hiring of head coach Dan Quinn, but Jaden Daniels came in. He brought some excitement, brought some life, and now all of a sudden the Washington Commanders are a bona fide playoff team. Houston Texans were a laughingstock before they drafted C.J. Stroud. Laughingstock. Cycling through head coaches every year. The Bill O'Brien stuff, which was awful. They draft C.J. Stroud, and all of a sudden, they have won the AFC South 2 years in a row. I know they're not playing their best football right now, but they've won the AFC South 2 years in a row. Nobody cared about Houston before Stroud got there, but he came in, brought some new life to the organization. Denver Broncos with Bo Nix. I looked at the Broncos roster preseason, and I said, this is going to be a terrible team. But Bo Nix has come in there and gotten better and better and better, and now the Broncos, the Bo Broncos, have life. This is how you reinvigorate a lifeless organization. I understand how great of a player Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter are, but if you want to turn the page on this terrible era of Tennessee Titans football that we've been watching, you have got to take a chance on drafting a young quarterback at the top of the draft. The Tennessee Titans are going to be up higher than I ever thought they would be even 2 weeks ago. They're going to have a chance to draft one of them. You need to do it. You need to do it. Doesn't matter what else you address if the quarterback position remains as bad as it has been. And look at the other options. I already mentioned Aaron Rodgers has just, his teammates don't like him. People are saying they'll leave their organization rather than play with him. And he played horrible on Sunday. Kirk Cousins is a ghost. Sam Darnold Minnesota ain't letting him leave the building. The options are very limited. And if I had to choose between Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward at this point, I'm going Shedeur Sanders. I know the upside to Cam Ward is higher, and I would be fine with Cam Ward, but I'm leaning towards Shedeur. You want to know why? Because a lot of people say, I don't want the drama that comes along with Shedeur Sanders and his dad, Coach Prime. No, I want it. I want all of that drama. I want all of that big personality. I want the gold chains. I want the swagger. I want the attitude. I want Prime. I want Deion Sanders on shows on ESPN talking about the Tennessee Titans. I want free agents wanting to come play with Prime's kid. I want some personality, God forbid, some personality and something to identify this team by, because right now there's nothing. And so I understand with Cam Ward, there might be a higher upside, and I'd be fine with him, but I'm kind of leaning towards Shedeur Sanders right now, because give me the Sanders name attached to the Tennessee Titans, please. What else do we have going for us? Our stadium is 3/4 empty. Our team is 3-13. Our quarterbacks are all bad. Our coach looks like a buffoon right now. Our weapons are non-existent outside of like one guy. Our most identifiable guy is a defensive tackle. Like, can we please do something to bring some life and some personality and some culture to this organization? So yes, I understand Abdul Carter is great. I understand Travis Hunter is great. There are other players up there that people are interested in. But to me, if you're in that position of number 2 or higher, you got to take Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward. And I get the skepticism about the pocket presence and holding onto the ball too long and trying to do too much. I get all of that. I get that they may not be as great of prospects as what we thought of as Caleb Williams or Bo Nix or Jaden Daniels. But it's the position you're in. You cannot waste my time with Kirk Cousins. You cannot waste my time with Derek Carr. You cannot waste my time with one of these old guys, bringing them in. I mean, if you want to be the Colts with Matt Ryan, that's fine. But what did it get the Colts? Give me a young guy with some attitude. That's what I say.